Luvafoodie iced tea for clean drinking iced tea flavors. Lemon lovers, passion fruit lovers, raspberry lovers, and blood orange lovers iced tea. Eat clean, be well, and stay well with our clean eating spice blends at Luvafoodie.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Luvafoodie LinkedIn Live. Today is June 13th, 2022. I am your host, Michelle Mazzara, owner and CEO and founder of Luvafoodie, clean eating brand. And today I'm honored to have a very special culinary award-winning author, Amalia Moreno Damgard. Did I say it right?
Yes. Hi, Michelle. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I see you on TV all the time on all the different stations, and I wanted to have you on a couple months ago. And I know you were traveling and you were busy, and you have such a busy schedule that I'm glad we were able to find this time today in June.
Well, thank you so much.
Yes. So Amalia, you're a native of Guatemala.
Yes.
How long have you been in the United States?
A long time. A long time, since 1981.
Okay. And were you trained, you're a Latin cuisine expert, and I know you represent a lot of different cuisines besides Guatemalan. Were you trained in culinary school in Guatemala, or how did you get this vast, this vast culinary learning from all these different countries, Central America?
Yes, so I learned the ropes of the kitchen with my maternal grandmother in Guatemala. And that was at a very young age. I used to help her in the kitchen. I used to go to the markets with her. And little did I know then that I was absorbing a lot of knowledge about techniques, a lot of knowledge about simple cuisine, a lot of knowledge about healthy cuisine made with fresh ingredients. When I came to the US, I already had this culinary knowledge in me, and I happen to love to cook. So I started cooking up a storm. I was in banking before I became a full-time entrepreneur and chef, and just practicing with my family, entertaining all the time. Started elevating my cuisine to a new level. And then I decided to go to Le Cordon Bleu. And that took my cuisine to a professional level. And at that time, I was ready to leave my banking career behind. And then I said, now what? What do I do with all this? With all this experience, with all this knowledge, with all this education. And so I decided to start teaching because that's what I really like to do. I love to cook. I like to tell stories behind the cuisine that I teach, and also I like to show people how easy it can be to put a meal together for a family of 2, 3, 4, and so on. But also I like to teach them about the unique nuances of Latin America. So my core is Guatemalan, and from there I expand to other Latin cuisines. I've been very fortunate to have been able to travel throughout Latin America and to go to markets, cook with just regular people who are good cooks, and learn and absorb a lot of the culture around me. I brought a lot of that with me. I have it in me. I have it in my head, in my heart, and in my tongue. And so I put that into practice. And I have made the Mesoamerica region, which is the region that comprises Guatemala, Belize, El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, and Panama. That is the Central America region connected to the southern central part of Mexico. This is a an ancient part of the world with very deep cuisines. And it is also a center of agriculture of many plants and fruits and vegetables that people might not be familiar with. So there is a myriad of information about this region in terms of culture, history, traditions that people need to know about.
Yes. So, can you, for those of us that have never had Guatemalan food, can you define what, in maybe a few sentences, what the essence of is? Like, for example, the Mediterranean diet, I could describe that, but what is the descriptive of the Guatemalan diet? And then, if you can explain the difference between that and the other countries that you focus on, for example, Belize and the other countries that you just mentioned. So we can kind of picture in our head, okay, this is Guatemalan, this is Belize, this is Ecuador, or whatever.
Yes, so Guatemalan cuisine, simply stated, it's based on the Mayan culture with the influence of Spanish cuisine, which is also a cuisine that not only brought the cuisine, but the culture and the traditions around Spanish cuisine. So today's Guatemalan cuisine is a blend of the two, and that is the traditional cuisine. Guatemalan cuisine is rich in fruits, vegetables. It's very vibrant. It's very colorful, and it's a lot of it is fairly simple. And then how you compare that in contrast to the rest of Latin America and even Mexico is that we have ingredients that we share. This area has three main ingredients that are called the triad or the triad of Mesoamerica, and that's corn, beans, and squash. These are
Okay.
ingredients that are present in the cuisines of Mexico and also of Central America. But from there, everyone expands into other ingredients that are also native to this area. I mentioned this is a highly agricultural area with many native ingredients. And when you go from cuisine to cuisine, there are nuances, and the nuances are because there are different cultures present in every country. In Guatemala, there are some 22 ethnicities that are multicultural and multilingual. And then you go into Mexico and you go into a bigger multilingual and multicultural demographic. And then as you move into Central America, you go into other ethnicities as well that are not very well known outside of this reason why I decided to write my book. But all the
So,
cuisines are similar, yet different, and similar because they share these ingredients and because some of them even share names. But sometimes when they share names, the cuisine is totally different. I'll give you one
mhm.
example. The enchilada from Mexico is very familiar, mainstream here in the US. But if you go to Guatemala, the enchilada is based on a corn tortilla, but it has nothing to do with a Mexican enchilada. In fact, it resembles more of a fancy tostada with many ingredients piled on top of each other. It's delicious. It's a street food, but it can also be a meal. And then you go into Nicaragua, for example, and they have their own enchilada. And again, the commonality there is the corn tortilla. But then the enchilada there looks more like a stuffed tortilla that has been wrapped in a very light egg batter and then lightly pan fried and then topped with all kinds of wonderful goodies such as curtido or cabbage salad with a little bit of spice on the side. And I want to say that one of the main characteristics of Central American cuisine versus Mexican cuisine is that the cuisines from Central America, the Mesoamerica region, are not spicy versus Mexican cuisine. We have spices and we have chili peppers that are present in our cuisines in dry and fresh form, but oftentimes these are on the side. So the salsas and the peppers are on the side for everyone to make their food as hot or as mild, or add no peppers if they don't want to add any peppers. But there are also peppers that are not hot. So there are peppers also that are very, very common in these cuisines, as are herbs such as cilantro and
Mm-hmm.
parsley, and an herb that is very unique called culantro, which almost sounds like cilantro, but it's a totally different herb. It almost looks like a weed, but it's present in the cuisines of Guatemala and some parts of Central America, and also some parts of the Caribbean, because in the the region of Mesoamerica, you know, everyone has at some point in time through history has shared ideas and so on through travels, and so a lot of the ingredients that are native, of course, are part of the cuisine, but there are also other ingredients in the cuisine that are not native, that have been imported through other immigrants that have come to this region.
Okay, that's very interesting, and you did a fantastic job comparing and contrasting. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
So we'll talk about your first cookbook, but before we do that, what would you say are the top, if I'm going to go to Guatemala, what are the top 5 signature recipes that I'm going to order or see on the menu in different restaurants?
Yes, so Guatemala's cuisine is based on the Mayan cuisine, and within the Mayan cuisine, there are stews that are considered cultural patrimony of the country. So the stews alone are glorious, are wonderful. So I would recommend Hokong, Pepian. Those are really well known. But I would also recommend Guatemalan tamales,
Okay.
which are totally different from any tamales that you may have eaten in the past. How so? They are wrapped in banana leaves, and then they have a very unique sauce called recado that is made with a combination of tomatoes, tomatillos, chiles, and spices. And this is all pan and grilled, and then it's made into a paste. This is part of the sauce that goes on corn masa, and the tamales can contain chicken, pork, or turkey, or a combination of all those. And we have a combination of tamales that are eaten every Saturday, and tamales that are made more festive, that are Christmas tamales. And those are the tamales colorados meaning red tamales. Those are the most common,
Okay.
and they are very delicious. They are not difficult to make, but they are very unique. So I would also recommend the soups that we have, which are also very easy to make, but many of them are one dish meals, and they contain meats and corn and root vegetables, and other vegetables, lots of herbs. The broth is rich from all the simmering meats and vegetables. And, we accompany many of our dishes with rice, and because the rice is a good pairing also for soups, as it is for saucy dishes such as stews.
Okay.
And rice is not native, of course, but the traditional cuisine today has native and non-native. So I would recommend those dishes for sure, from Guatemala.
Nice. So show us your first cookbook, which is Guatemalan cooking. Guatemalan recipes and this has won 9 awards,
Yes,
or maybe
this
even
is
more.
this is Amalia's Guatemalan kitchen gourmet cuisine with a cultural flair. I've been so blessed that my book has been so well received from the very beginning. It has been a bestseller, and then it started winning awards at an international level, including the Gourmand Award. And it has 175 traditional home style healthy recipes, many variations within the recipes because a dish that is made in, say, Guatemala City may have a cousin in other regions of the country with some modifications. So
Mm-hmm.
I have added many of the modifications. So if I have given the recipe for a dish in Guatemala City and I know it has a cousin elsewhere, I mention this. But there are many anecdotes, personal anecdotes from my time growing up in Guatemala and cooking with my grandmother and my mother, who was also a very good cook. And then my dad's sisters were also very good cooks. So I have always been surrounded by very good cooks that has influenced my cooking along the way, and I have poured all this information into my first book. And so when I was finished with this book, I felt that I had more to say and that I had more recipes to share. But the book was already over 400 pages long.
Are there
So
pictures in the book, Amalia? Are there pictures?
yes,
Okay, maybe
yes,
you could open it up. So of each recipe, do you show a picture?
this book does not have a recipe with each, excuse me, this book does not have a picture with each recipe, but it
Nice.
has many pictures throughout the book. It also has ingredient pictures. Now, my second book
Mm-hmm.
does have a picture with every single dish. And I'll
That's
tell you what.
oh
So this
nice.
is, yes, this is Amalia's Mesoamerican table, ancient culinary traditions with gourmet infusions. And I call this the sequel to Amalia's Guatemalan kitchen because this book is also Guatemala centric, but then it expands to the region of Central America with the connection to South Central part of Mexico because the foods and the cuisines and the cultures are interrelated through time, through history, through tradition. And so this book contains 130 recipes. And then it also has a very extensive pantry of ingredients, identifying unique ingredients that people may not be familiar with. It also has a very extensive listing of the native plants that are in the Central America region and Mexico, the region of Mesoamerica, a region of agricultural origin, and the cuisine is based on this great plants and great ingredients that are part of the region. The book has a lot of history on the region, on the territory of Mesoamerica, because people need to know about these cultures. Many people know about the great civilizations, the Aztecs and the Mayas, but few people know about the other cultures that are still present, descendants of those cultures in the Mesoamerican region, which not necessarily have to do with the Mayas and the Aztecs.
Okay.
And yeah, so there is a mother culture there called the Olmecs, and so people should take the time to read the history, because when you read the history, you understand why the cuisine is the way it is.
Absolutely. So a question I have for you, since a lot of the ingredients and spices and fruits and some of the herbs, etc., are from these parts of the different countries. They're specific. They're not, from your local grocer. If I buy the cookbook and I want to make these recipes, where am I going to find that plant or that herb or that ingredient if I live in the Twin Cities or I live in Chicago? How can I get these ingredients to make these recipes?
Great question. So when I was writing my first book, which back then we didn't have the grocery stores that we have today in the Twin Cities and nationwide, physical stores and online stores, and we didn't have the availability of ingredients imported or grown here. I was testing my recipes by making suitable substitutions. How so? For instance, Guatemalan cuisine has some similarities with Mexican cuisine, similarities in ingredients, as I stated earlier. So, say the guajillo chili from Mexico is similar to the chile guaque from Guatemala. And both of those in fresh form and in dry form are used interchangeably in the cuisines. So when I was testing a recipe that contains, say, guaque chile, then I would substitute with a guajillo chile because the flavor is very, very close. Nowadays, you can find most ingredients at a local grocery store, and the very unique ingredients are very few. You can order those online. This country has become very diverse, and the Latino demographic is the fastest growing demographic. And what that has done is it has created a lot of opportunities for new grocery stores, restaurants, and so there are foodies also in this environment that like to cook and like to try new foods. This has created demand for many unique Latino products. So there have been many chains also that are now are big importers of unique and special ingredients from Mexico, Central America, and South America. So when I was testing my recipes for my second book, which I published last October, in the middle of the worst of the pandemic, Michelle, it was very challenging because you know what's going on in our grocery
I
stores
do.
in terms of not only prices going up, and that's not what I'm referring to, but I'm referring to many
Supply.
items became many items became
Right,
scarce. So when I
right.
was testing, I was testing with whatever I could find, and then when I found the right ingredient, then boom, I would test that recipe again just to make sure. But as things become more normal, people should be able to find, I say, 99% of the ingredients to make these dishes at home with
Okay,
the 1%, online. And
right.
online it's pretty easy anymore. You order it one day, and depending on which company it is, which source it is, it can be there in a day or two or a week or whatever. But it's not going to be a difficult situation. Most of the recipes will contain ingredients that you can find locally.
Great, great. So another thing that you do is you help companies. You've worked with Target, you've worked with General Mills, Ecolab, some very, very huge companies, and also individuals. So tell us how, if I'm a company, you've worked with Kroger, if I'm watching this and I'm a grocery chain out in California or out east, or I'm an individual, what specific opportunities can you offer me as an individual and also as a company?
Yes, excellent question. Because my company is called Amalia Latin Gourmet, and within my company, I have a mission to help organizations of all sizes develop a broader understanding and appreciation of Latin cultural nuances through gourmet cuisine experiences. And also, I do consulting work for the company, some of the companies that you mentioned. And the consulting is different for each one because each one has different needs. So one may have needs for product development. Others may have a need for connecting Latin American products to the American consumer or vice versa. And some of them may have a need for getting closer to the culture. And because the closer you are to the culture, the more you appeal to the Hispanic consumer. There's been times when I have assisted in translating or being a liaison between an American company and a company in South America or Central America. So within the consulting, I do a lot of different things, not just one thing. I also advise brands on brands that are, say, rebranding themselves, that have had a group of products that they may have purchased along the way. I advise them on rebranding and refreshing their brand. And many of these brands, of course, are within the Hispanic products. So that is the consulting. And then I am also a spokesperson for some of these companies. For instance, I help Michael Foods' first line of Hispanic cheeses. Crystal Farms launched their first line of Hispanic cheeses here in the Midwest, and then I helped them creating recipes and with a campaign around the cheeses, presentations to their sales teams, and so on. And I also do create videos for companies who want to showcase their products to the media, to the media, to the consumer on TV, either by also creating videos for Instagram, for Facebook, for YouTube, and so on. I do many virtual presentations worldwide. Since the pandemic, my business has become global. And thank goodness for all the virtual platforms that we have nowadays. This is very, very possible. And it continues to grow. The virtual piece continues to grow, and I am very pleased with that. But I also locally do many experiences around food that help spark conversations about diversity, about inclusion, about race, about so many different relevant topics that are hot in our community these days. Food is a platform, food is a connector, food is a way to unite people. So the cultural experiences that I bring are at any time of the year, but especially around Hispanic Heritage Month, when companies are looking to celebrate and commemorate the contributions of Hispanics, but also, continuing to expand the Latin American community to connect with other communities as well.
Right. And then individually, do you do, like, say, if I wanted to hire you, would you do you do catering? What do you do for individuals?
I don't do catering. I don't advertise catering because what I bring to the table is education paired with food. And most of my experiences are connected to corporations, to professional organizations. Selectively, I will do a dinner here and there for someone who wants to hire me to bring my cuisine, but even that cuisine comes with a story. So this is not just me delivering food, it's delivering gourmet, unique cuisine that allows me to tell a story behind each dish, as
So,
well
so
as,
you are
go
right.
ahead.
You are available though for as a private chef to come into somebody's house and do a whole Guatemala dinner if somebody wanted that.
I am, and people can contact me via email, or they can go to my website,
Okay.
Amalia at amaliallc.com is my website, and
Okay.
from there they can see what I do, and my contact information is there as well.
Okay. And I'm just curious, we both live in the Twin Cities. Do you recommend any restaurants here in town that you would go eat at that you think are authentic either in your cuisine or in the Central America region?
I eat a lot of different kinds of cuisines. I specialize in Latin American cuisine and culture, but I enjoy eating and learning about other cuisines. So when I go eat out, I often resort to Asian cuisines because I feel that there is also a connection and a cross with Latin American cuisines in some ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
I love Japanese food. I love Thai. I love Indian, Vietnamese, Korean, and then European. I love French and Spanish, and also Italian cuisine. And also because my husband is born and raised in Copenhagen, Denmark. We've been together for a long time, and I have traveled to the Scandinavian countries a lot, and then I've cooked with his family in Denmark. So I am well versed on Danish, Swedish, and Norwegian cuisine, and sometimes I even Latinize that.
That's fun. That's fun. Well, I've one other question for you. Well, two questions. Number one, how can I taste your food? Me, myself, and I. And number two, what's next for you? I mean, I'm sitting here listening to you, and my mouth is watering. And when you were describing the cuisine of the different countries and different parts of your city and your country, have you ever thought about doing a culinary tour where you take people with you to Central America? So that's one question. Second question is, how can I taste your food? And I guess the third question is, what about coming out with a line of food yourself? Like,
Wow, yeah, those are great. Yeah, go ahead. I didn't let
no,
you
so
finish.
those are the three questions, and then we'll end the show.
Well, I've been asked these questions before, and I will address each one individually. What's next for Amalia?
Yeah,
Amalia is always full of ideas, and Amalia is always looking to improve, to refine, and to sharpen everything she's doing. I do a lot of speaking. I didn't mention that. A lot of presentations. I love doing that because speaking is also education, and the centerpiece of my presentations is often food, but it's also career transitioning and entrepreneurship and so on. So what's the next for me is to continue to refine what I do to create product down the line. I don't know what that will be yet, but I have entertained a couple of ideas here and there. I just want to make sure it's a good fit for me. It's not as easy as it sounds. I create a product and boom, here it is. And, you got to think big time. And, you got to have plans, you got to have funding, you got to have so many
right.
things. You're being a business owner yourself. It's not that easy. So
No,
yes,
it's not.
I have considered creating product beyond my books, and so I am entertaining one idea that has stuck with me. We all have this light bulb in our heads: do it, do it, do it. I have
Right.
that one. I have that one that tells me to do a certain product. So I am kind of working towards that. how you can taste my food. I do events that oftentimes are public or are attached to conferences and summits and so on. And, I published a lot of this on social media, LinkedIn. I'm pretty active, and I try to share as much as I can about these events, many of which I said are free and people are welcome to join. And so that is one way you can taste the
Okay.
cuisine. Another way is you can hire me to cook for you. And then what was the other question? I even forgot the third one.
Um, I said, what's next for you? About taking us on a culinary tour, on an adventure. I know because you travel and you're very well traveled and you're
Yeah,
bilingual or you speak many languages.
that's another question that people have asked me many times. It's something that I have considered. I have done a trip to Guatemala. I've taken a group down there, and so I got a taste of it. And again, it's not that easy. It requires a lot of logistics, coordination in the States and in Guatemala. It requires good connections. I like to do things well in high quality, and it also requires high quality connections and experiences. And
Mm-hmm.
so I had my taste of it when I took the first group, and I liked what I did and what happened. And I would like to someday go back to that. But right now, I have my hands in so many other things that being away from the U.S., from the Twin Cities, where my core business is, sort of disrupts my my
Right,
routine. If you're away for a week or two at a time, I'm always working. So thank goodness for the cell phone, because if I am not cooking something or presenting somewhere, I am answering emails, following up on a contract, or speaking with a
right,
prospect. So it's juggling a lot of different balls in the air, and just traveling is it's fun. But when you do it to take groups there, it's not as fun because you're working all the time,
right,
because now you're entertaining people from breakfast until dinner time, until the time you go to sleep, and then you get up again, do it all over again. And
right,
maybe someday I'll do it again with help.
right.
Certainly not by myself, but that is one question I've been asked over and over again. And my country is absolutely beautiful, as it is the rest of Central America, worth exploring, not only because the countries are beautiful, but the cuisines are absolutely delicious. Mexico is beautiful, and just so many different places to go and see. It's just, the time, and you gotta pick and choose on what's the best fit for you and your business, because I have a core right now that I'm concentrating on, and
Right.
that is the consulting and the speaking and the experiences, and I am very busy as it is here in the Twin Cities, and now expanding nationwide. And so I just have to be very careful with my time and how I invest it. I don't want to burn out, and
Right.
I want to continue to enjoy what I do, and I love what I do.
Nice. Well, I will honor your time and we will end the show because we both have things that we have to go do. And I think it's been a fantastic show. I've really enjoyed having you on, learning about you, your cuisine, what you're all about. I missed you at the NGA show. I was there, but I missed I know you did a little food demonstration on the Hispanic stage, I believe. And
Yes.
so I unfortunately had already left, but I know you travel a lot, so and you're busy. But I do appreciate your time today. And once again, people should go. They can find your books. Are they on Amazon?
They should go to my website,
Okay,
amaliallc.com.
and that's where the books can be purchased.
Yes, I have a
Okay,
store within my website, and they can purchase them from there, and they are shipped locally.
okay.
And so they are supporting me, and they are supporting our local economy, our local community.
and a woman entrepreneur. And that was another reason I wanted you on my show, because we all have to support each other. It's tough out there, and we have to stick together. And we're both foodies, and we're in the industry. And as you said, there's lots of challenges. Even if it's great what you're doing, it doesn't mean that it's easy.
Yes, yes. Well, I appreciate that you brought me on your show. It has been a pleasure. It's been great meeting you. And I hope that I get to meet you in person one of these days.
I do too, Amalia. I think we will definitely. We just haven't, our paths just haven't crossed yet. They almost did.
Yes, thank you.
Yes,
Thank you very much
you're welcome. We'll end the
for
show
having
with
me.
absolutely. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We'll end the show with a Luvafoodie jingle, and you'll see us next Monday at 1:30 Central Time. Thank you, everybody. Have a great week. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. I'm moving
Thank you.
I'm going from my, can you
Oh,
see me?